Mitchell Levy, global credibility expert. And in this particular episode of Dear Credibility Expert, I want to focus on what makes a post credible. It is such a broad question that came in and such an interesting way to go about doing that. So one, if it's in your field of expertise and you're staying within your field of expertise, it is almost by definition credible. Now, what you want to do is make sure that you're not putting conjecture out there, or if you're putting up conjecture, you put it with facts. When you share other people whose name is well known. So what makes a post credible? If somebody wrote something that you really enjoyed reading, and then you share that post, so you're spreading cred dust, and you're sharing that post and sharing their name associated with, once again, credible, because you're spreading cred dust. When you do that, and then you have an opinion. Now, if that opinion is something that's outside of what you normally talk about publicly, that's probably not credible. And if it's going to offend your prospects, and it's not, and that's a bothersome for you, then you don't want to do that. If, on the other hand, you do have an opinion, and that opinion is in line with your area of expertise, you are not only spreading cred dust, but you're creating something that's credible for you, because you're sharing information that your audience hopefully or maybe doesn't have, and you're giving your opinion on what makes sense. Does that make sense? Okay. The interesting part of what makes things credible, quoting and using statistics from known sources makes things credible. Having multiple sources of information makes things credible. Having, if you have a LinkedIn profile and it has no picture, by the way, I shouldn't be connected to you. And if I am and you don't have a picture, let me know so I can disconnect. That to me means you're not credible. If I'm seeing something and it's new for me, I'm going to want to look at the biographical information, and is it in concert with what the person wrote about? I'm trying to think about what else is interesting in terms of what makes a post credible. You know, I think sometimes understanding context, that's probably the one thing I hadn't talked about yet. Understanding context of a post, right? Are you saying something because you really feel that way? Or are you saying something because it's a client or a prospect? Are you saying something because you're trying to impress somebody else? Only the first one is credible. The other two is if it's a client or a prospect and you're getting paid to do that, making sure people know that makes things more credible. If what we do, by the way, when I do cred reels and we're paid for those, the goal is to make the person look good. Now, what's maybe not as clear and should be, and we have to write this down somewhere, but if I don't believe in the person I'm interviewing, I will not do the interview. Right? Let's just be very clear about that. If you pay me and we're doing a cred reel, I'm not going to do a cred reel just because you pay me. We have rejected people or said no, or said, hey, do ABC, do this stuff first before we can do the cred reel together. And so that is, God, we need to put that on the webpage. If it's not there, it's not in our terms and conditions. I know I wrote it at some point in time, but let me just see if it's in our T's and C's. We should know that. You should know that, right? Just because they're a client doesn't mean you should say good things. You should say good things because you believe. That makes things more credible. I don't know if it feels like I'm missing something. It feels like there's something in this, what makes a post credible. Images are good. Sometimes short, compelling, quick to read. Sometimes if I'm reading something that's super long and it's redundant, or spelling spelling mistakes. A lot of times spelling mistakes makes things uncredible, not incredible, or not credible. Photos that reinforce the imaging make sense. Trying to think about what else. I don't know. It feels like there's something missing. So here's what I'd like to say. If you're seeing this and you think, hey, Mitchell, you didn't touch on this, or didn't touch on that, I'll give you, what do you think? What makes a post more credible that I hadn't touched on yet? Or what did I touch on that's valuable? Or what do you want to disagree with me with? God, that I could say that 5 times fast. Not. And I'd love to hear your feedback. Looking forward to seeing how you respond to this one. Hopefully this is helpful for that person who asked and for others who care about it. And thanks so much. Have a great day. See you next time at Dear Credibility Expert. Thank you. Bye now.